Honesty, passion, experience. It's Timberwolves Explosion, hosted on the Paladinolive network. And now, your host, Paladino Joey. Extra, extra, hear all about it. Extra, extra, hear all about it. This is, of course, Timberwolves Explosion. Welcome to the explosion of Timberwolves basketball. I'm your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan. Timberwolves Explosion is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps, pardon me. I thank each and every one of you once and always for downloading and listening to this show. It is a great pleasure to be back on board with you once again today. Extra, extra breaking news. Extra, extra breaking news. Friday night, very late Friday night here. Almost Saturday night, but not quite. Timberwolves Explosion. The Minnesota Timberwolves have made another huge trade in the Tim Connolly era. A massive trade. Yes, Karl Anthony Towns apparently is being traded to the New York Knicks. To the New York Knicks via The Athletic and other outputs and such. Looks like ESPN doesn't even mention a name in the article. Obviously, The Athletic as well, which I'm a subscriber. So, yes, I'm a little flabbergasted. I was driving home at the time. Already been kind of moving around and thought I'd left something at work that I didn't want to leave at work. You know, one of those kind of situations. So, apparently this, The Athletic staff, ESPN, multiple sources, but I believe may have, well, it looks like, yep, combination of Shams Charania, who, yes, we'll talk about his role very shortly, and John Krasinski, of course, locally here, Fred Kotz, and Mark Puelo, pardon me. Yes, Adrian Wojnarowski, if you've been living in a cave, has stepped down as the legendary Twitter master of reporting basketball, and he will be the general manager of St. Bonaventure. So that's what I'm here for. No, it's not. But no, but now it's Shams Charania, most likely being the new Woj bomb. He's the Shams bomb or whatever, but he was already kind of like that type of guy for The Athletic, which is a competitor, of course, of ESPN. John Krasinski locally has broken many stories and kept up with many stories over the course of time, like the Andrew Wiggins trade and all the, Flip Saunders coming back to Minnesota, all that cool stuff. Well, Karl Anthony Towns is going to the New York Knicks. Karl Anthony Towns is going to the New York Knicks. Wow. Yeah. What can we say about that? I don't know. So all kinds of new stuff happening since the last episode. Good God. I mean, think about what's happened since the last episode and what's happened even in the last, X amount of, the last 2 weeks here with Woj going away. Obviously, it's not really Timberwolves related, but still, how many Timberwolves trades did Woj report? You know what I mean? How many stories did he break over the years? So Adrian Wojnarowski, all that. Timberwolves Explosion has a new logo. Timberwolves Explosion has a new logo. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Give me a comment. Say something. I do believe I've had mostly warm responses about the idea. It looks good, and it needed a facelift. I really want to thank Wayne Hunt, who actually did create the last logo for Timberwolves Explosion, which stood for a good 7 years or more. Awesome logo. I just thought, it's time to kind of go back to the blue rather than like a white background and such, and kind of have more of a, just kind of a fresh look, a facelift. Some of you might think it's a downgrade. Some of you might think it's an upgrade. But, I've had different incarnations of ideas over the past X amount of time. And plus the fact that I've, gotten into Pixart a little bit and made a new logo for Video Game Flashback, Freedom of Thought, and, and now this one. So other different podcasts that I've done over the course of time. Obviously, I'm still doing those podcasts. Purple Mafia and Brave the Wild are in good standing. There's no reason to change those logos anytime soon. But, yeah, so all the different stuff here. Need to get to the Karl Anthony Towns trade, but, yeah, the new logo. Okay, yes, Timberwolves Explosion has a new logo. Good for me, yay, wahoo. Yes, so the Knicks are sending Randle, Julius Randle and Donte DiVincenzo to the Minnesota Timberwolves for Karl Anthony Towns. Those are the actual warm bodies at the moment that are involved in the trade. There are other possible facilitators like the Charlotte Hornets. That's the other conversation. I'm on the ESPN article now. I may kind of switch between the two. But a major piece of this trade, which Vince Germano agrees is probably might have been the deal maker. You know how there's deal breakers? This might have been the deal maker. Is that, how did he word it? Yeah, I think the Detroit pick is key here. Notice I said Detroit pick. Minnesota will also receive a 2025 top 13 protected. Doggone it. First round pick, which was acquired via the Pistons in a previous trade. I thought it said unprotected. Oh. Top 13 protected. Okay, so we'll see how that turns out. Doggone it. Never mind. Ay. Okay, yay. We got Julius Randle. And actually, his numbers were very similar. They show that in the very similar to Karl Anthony Towns the past couple of years, or last year or so. These are averages over the last 5 years. Between this is on the ESPN research. Over the last 5 seasons, Karl Anthony Towns and Julius Randle have put up fairly similar numbers. Points per game, Karl Anthony Towns 23.7, Julius Randle 22.6. Rebounds per game, Karl Anthony Towns 9.5, Julius Randle 9.9. Assists per game for Karl 3.9, Julius Randle 4.7. Field goal percentage, Karl Anthony Towns 51%, Julius Randle 45%. Okay, yeah. Well, yeah. Right. Anyhow, DiVincenzo apparently, who's 27 years old, averaged almost 18 points a game in the playoffs the past year. So during their kind of semi-playoff run before people got hurt and it was over, basically, that was kind of a bummer. Karl Anthony Towns, also, this is definitely part of it, is the amount of money. It's getting ridiculous how much money we've been tying ourselves up in. You know that's part of it, like the contract. It's not like I'm saying get the heck rid of Karl Anthony Towns. He's garbage and what an albatross of a contract. Oh, but wait, it is an albatross of a contract. So, yes, it's not about just dumping money, but at the fact that, again, the commitment to a player who, the commitment to a player who is guaranteed $220 million Supermax extension he signed in 2022. So, we're talking like $55-60 million a year, $50 million at least to a player who's really good. He's not a franchise player. Karl Anthony Towns is not a franchise player. Anthony Edwards is, and I don't know. It's just kind of the way it is. Randle has $28.9 million and $30.9 million left in his contract, so 2 years remaining for Randle. So it's a lot less commitment. That's about $60 million in 2 years, over 2 years, a player option for next season. Okay, that could mean he's going to possibly opt out and try to get more. But I don't know, $30.9 million? Is that terrible? So, I don't know. I mean, either way, you're going to want an extension anyway. I'm sure you'd want some kind of a commitment from somebody, be it the Wolves or, I don't know, God knows who. Joe Q, free agent team. At this point, I think you'd want to keep Randle as long as it's reasonable. But, yeah, I mean, we don't need to start rebuilding here, do we? Jeez. So, I mean, it's not like we're getting the number one pick in the draft from Detroit. But the one good thing is, see, Detroit, that's what I think Vince is talking about here, is not that it's like, sure, it's protected all the way up to the top 13 next year. I believe after that, it is not protected. So that's the whole key with that Detroit move. So that's the key, most likely, if I'm getting that correctly, if I'm reading into this correctly. So, yeah, that's more than likely the trade. Obviously, things are possible, subject to change here because it's not 100% official. But either way, Karl Anthony Towns is going to be on the Knicks. Julius Randle and Donte DiVincenzo are coming to Minnesota, and we are getting a Detroit pick, which could become something insanely significant in the next few years. So possibly a target of being younger and healthier type of thing, because Karl Anthony Towns has gone from a guy who was a bit of an Iron Man for many years with the Timberwolves to a guy who's been, I don't know, oft injured lately. As for the juice, well, I guess that's our orange juice guy, Julius Randle. We'll see how that turns out. Karl did average 19.1 last year, which is definitely a low for a long time. It was our first ever number one overall pick that was actually ours, not somebody we traded for like Andrew Wiggins and such the year before. The year before we traded for him when he became the number one pick. And a Kevin Love deal. And a mess of other players. It was interesting. Cleveland got their championship, and the Wolves got a guy that we thought was going to be something, and he wasn't. That kind of thing, just one of those. He was one of those. He was one of those guys that was good, but never great. It just looked promising. It's been a hell of a career, though. Yep, 22.9 overall for Karl's career, 573 games. He started them all, averaged 34 minutes over the course of his time with the Wolves, 52.4%. Man, it's the end of an era, isn't it? It's kind of sad, actually. Almost 40% from downtown, arguably and most likely the best shooting big man in NBA history to date. We'll see if that changes, obviously, because I don't know, everyone's obsessed with a damn three-pointer these days. In his early years, and Karl Anthony Towns averaged up to 12 rebounds a game, 12 and a half in his second, third, and fourth years with the Minnesota Timberwolves. And the rebounding had been dwindling into the 10.8, 10.6, 9.8, 8.1, 8.3. Karl only played 29 games. His the first year with Tim Conley as the president of basketball. So he played. Karl officially played 91 games in the Rudy Gobert / Tim Conley era with the Minnesota Timberwolves. So obviously, Tim Conley, the Wolves hadn't even played a game yet before Tim Conley made that trade. So yeah. Now he's traded Karl Anthony Towns away. And this was kind of a possibility, and other people were like thinking, nah, but I don't know, you got a lot of money tied up in three guys. A lot. So you might have to kind of, I don't know, we'll have to wait and see how this goes. This better be an indicator as well that Tim Conley isn't going to up and run away, cut and run at the end of the damn season because Glenn Taylor's the owner. Oh, bleep that, Well, yeah. This was a rant I was even thinking about this, I don't know if it was today or 2 days ago. I think it was Thursday. Yeah, Thursday afternoon or whatever when I was getting ready for work for my regular job versus the lawn service after showering. I was thinking, all of you, I'm not a fan of Glenn Taylor either, but I think the adolescent hatred towards Glenn Taylor, though, is a little tiring. It's like, come on, Obviously, I'm not a fan either, but the way Garnett has treated him over the years, it's childish. I don't know. At very least, acting like a 14-year-old, if not like a third grader. It's like, dude, okay, you don't have to like him, you don't have to agree with him, you don't have to like this or that, but come on, man. I'm not impressed at all with that crap. So I'm not impressed with Glenn Taylor's management, leadership with the Wolves over the years, but I'm not impressed with the Garnett responses over the years either. It's like, dude, you're acting like a fourth grader. Cut it out. So, okay, there go a few of my listeners, but I'm going to say it anyway. No, I don't. I would hope most of you already know how I feel about a lot of that. I've not liked Garnett's attitude for a long time. Let me tell you, I've not appreciated him very much as a player with the Wolves for many years during the course of time. But I don't know. I think some of that, I don't know, the hatred and just vitriol. It's too much. It's too much. Okay, we get it, okay? Kind of like Randy Moss's Hall of Fame speech. Did that impress me? No, not at all. He made a jerk of himself. There, I just lost some more listeners. He made a total jerk of himself at the time. I don't think Garnett did, no. But Randy Moss did. It was ridiculous. So back to Karl Anthony Towns again. Wow, it's pretty wild. The Knicks, wouldn't that be the darndest thing if these two teams met in the NBA Finals? So you never know. It's possible. It's possible. I'm not sure what to make of everything. Will the Wolves be better after all of this? Quite possibly, because again, Garnett. I just called him Kevin Garnett. Karl Anthony Towns has been injured, oft injured a lot. Oft injured a lot. Yeah, well, he's been injured often over the last 4 years or so, 4 or 5 years after being an Iron Man. His first, previous 4 years or so with the Wolves. Man, it's just the darndest thing, isn't it? Yeah, previous 5 years, sorry. It's crazy. But yeah, I mean, the baby-like attitude, I was making fun of Garnett, with his childish hatred of Glenn Taylor. Yeah, I mean, Karl Anthony Towns' childish behavior and meltdowns on the court at times in big games when teams kind of, beat him up a little bit, how he'll be on the floor crying, acting like a baby at times, and it's, I don't know, he doesn't get this call, he doesn't get that call, but the endless bitching and moaning isn't going to get you calls very often. Eventually, the refs are just going to say, screw you, man. and that's kind of what took place over the course of time. Anthony Edwards was kind of rubbing off on him. He was kind of becoming a baby too at times. Not a baby, but a complainer. And that got old. I think a lot of people got tired of that too. So, but we'll see. We'll see if this different couple of guys, Donte DiVincenzo is a winner, no matter how you look at him. He's a winner. He's a stud. Sharpshooter, of course. I loved him with Villanova. That's one of my favorite college teams. I even have a Villanova Wildcats hat. I'm doing my thumb pointing to the left here on the couch. I have like 15,000 hats. Slight exaggeration, only slight. I have a lot of hats. Too many for anybody. But I have a lot of hats. Donte DiVincenzo is absolutely a winner, and all that. So Julius Randle's had some big numbers over the years. He's on his 5th team already, which is weird. Starting with the Lakers, going to the Pelicans, this is to be his 4th team. Lakers, Pelicans, Knicks, Wolves, 4th team. Sorry. But it's definitely a different vibe. Julius Randle also came from Kentucky, and he's, doggone it, he's like a half year older. And he was drafted a year earlier. 6'8", 250, so definitely a power forward, of course. Not going to be playing center. Naz Reid, Naz Reid will be the main backup center, I guess. And he could also play power forward. Naz Reid's going to have a big role. Julius Randle can definitely go off scoring. He absolutely can. He can rebound. He's a good passer, as they might say in the NHL. He's a good passer. He's a really good passer, eh? Yeah, he's a good passer, eh? 5 assists last year. That's not bad. 9.2 rebounds, eh? So kind of talking Canadian here. I don't know why. But 24.0 points a game. 7th overall pick in 2014. The same alma mater of as Karl Anthony Towns. Sorry, I'm just bleeping around. But yeah, about a year older, slightly less than a year older than Cat, the Cat man, who will be the Knicks version of the Cat, or whatever he is. K.A.T's job is on the Knicks. What the heck? But I suppose he's related to. Actually, he isn't. That was the other dude, the other weird guy that was our president of basketball for a minute. Julius Randle overall, though, Lakers played only one game in the rookie year with the injury. He was out for the whole time. 14-15. What the hell? What am I looking at here? Yeah. Only one game. Isn't that messed up? 81 games at the Lakers. The next year, that was Karl's rookie year, of course. 10 rebounds, 11 points. The numbers just kind of went up. With Julius Randle, I get the vibe Vince Germano wasn't a gigantic fan of his. Like, he liked him, but he didn't love him. And eventually was part of the famous/infamous trade for their favorite guy, Anthony Davis. He was part of that Anthony Davis trade, of course, going to the Lakers, the Brow, where the Lakers had their big-time center like they've had forever over the course of time, going all the way back to George Mikan. George Mikan, Wilt Chamberlain, maybe you've heard of those guys, I don't know. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, just another run-of-the-mill guy. Oh, Shaq. Who needs Shaq, right? Even Vlade Divac was pretty damn good. Obviously not on the same level, but pretty good. Andrew that guy. He was good for a couple minutes until he went off the deep end and, I don't know, tried to kill some people. But, that's just part of he just had a bad day, Come on. You got to know where he's coming from, right? Yeah, okay. And then Anthony Davis, years later. Pau Gasol, of course, as well. Helping the Lake Show win some championships in the Kobe era. God rest his soul. Man. 5 years already with the Knicks, Julius Randle. Pretty wild. Going back to that weird COVID year. Yeah, I know. 1920, 64 games because it was a weird year. Julius Randle, he misses sometime, but not as bad as Karl had been until last year, 46 games. So, great. That's wonderful. Julius Randle's best year overall, I would have to say, was 22-23. 25.1 points a game, 10 rebounds. 4.1 assists. He did have 5 assists, him being Julius Randle, of course. 5 assists last year. He had 6 assists in 20 and 21. 24.1 points, 10.2 rebounds. You could argue that was his best year. Numbers dropped. He dropped exactly 4 points a game the next year for some reason. But the assists were still good in 21 and 22. So, yeah. Julius Randle, on average, looks like he misses, I don't know, it's a son of a biscuit, 5 to 12 games a year or so. And then last year he missed almost half the season. Freaking annoying. So, that kind of sucks. True three-point percentage, well, he shoots some threes. He attempted 5.5 last year, made 31%. Okay, well, yeah. He attempted 5.5 last year and made 31%. Well, okay. The year before he attempted 8.5 and made 34.3. 34.3. 41% in 20 and 21. That was the year after the COVID. It was just a late start and all that. 41% that year after, and he was attempting how many threes a game? 5.5. That was his best year out from downtown. That would be 3-point range. Definitely not quite the shooter that Karl was. His later years with the Lakers and into the Pelicans, as we like to call them, field goal percentage of 55.8 and 52.4 respectively. But since then, it's been in the mid-40s, mid to upper 40s for the most part, except for some frickin' reason. I don't know, power forward shooting 41.1% in 72 games in 21-22. What the flip is that? 41.1? You're a power forward. Like playing close to the basket. What is he, Chris Webber launching shots and missing them? And yeah, he had a shitty year. Pardon my French. Shitty season there. I said it again. 21-22. And obviously, again, his field goal percentage dropped, or points per game dropped by 4 points. Jeez. But got better into the last couple of years, generally speaking. Usually averages in the mid-30s in minutes throughout the course of his career. So Julius Randle is kind of a temporary Scottie Pippen role for the Timberwolves. I don't see him as a long-term piece for this franchise, but for a couple years, possibly, at least one. I'm not sure what our long-term plan is with Julius Randle, but just the hope is we're not flat giving Karl Anthony Towns away, because he wanted to be here and he was going to be here. Obviously, the financial terms were a bit ridiculous overall when you consider you have 3 guys with like max contracts on the same team, which seems a little bit crazy when you're playing in Target Center, which might be the least profitable arena in basketball right now. So like the other talk is the Timberwolves were actually projected to lose over $100 million next year. $100 million. So that could be part of this, but at the same time, again, Karl Anthony Towns, like I said, the oft-injured, the childish kind of behavior at times, freaking out at the refs every 5 minutes, every damn time he didn't get his way, that got old. That got old. I mean, I love Karl Anthony Towns. I really appreciate what he brought to this team, but some of that got old, I'm sure. And I'm sure that got old behind the scenes. Like, calm the frick down. I want to win. I don't want to be on the chopping block for the refs the rest of my career. Like, calm down. Stop fouling, like a certain shooting guard of the Timberwolves once said in one of the famous press conferences last postseason. Quit fouling. You get the idea. So, Julius Randle. Yes, Julius Randle. I've said his name 50,000 times. Welcome to the Timberwolves, Julius. Orange Julius. Welcome to the Timberwolves. I'd like a razzmatazz. No, I think Marcus likes that. That sounds like something he would say. I forget which one I liked more. I'd have to go there again. There was one that I liked, and I just don't go there that much. But maybe I will now, because Orange Julius is here. Orange Julius. He was definitely orange when he played with the Knicks, especially when they wore those weird uniforms that were oranger colored. But, yeah, how about them Knicks, I guess. Karl Anthony Towns is being reunited with Tom Thibodeau. I don't know if he's happy about that or not, because we all saw it, at least not all of us, but a lot of us saw a while back with Karl Anthony Towns, like, inbounded a ball and turned the ball over. It was like, an easy basket for the other team. It was a pick 2, not a pick 6, but still, it was a terrible play where Tom Thibodeau slammed his fist on the table, yelling, "What the F are you doing? Stupid mother effer." And you could read his lips. It was funny, but oof. Yeah. It was funny, but wow. Head coach said that to Karl Anthony Towns, but that's Tom Thibodeau, though. Maybe that's to be expected. So we'll see how that turns out. Apparently Randle has a shoulder issue, and that's what the case was with with Julius Randle missing a lot of time. Well, Julius, I hope your shoulder's going to be okay, okay? That would be really nice to know. Yeah, Shams Charania Athletic is one of the main cogs here in this big report, this big breaking news that's been floating around now for hours, I guess. Donte DiVincenzo, welcome to Minnesota. Donte DiVincenzo was a draft pick of Milwaukee, 2018. I was when they won the Natty in Villanova, in that Philadelphia area. Villanova, I love Villanova. Birthday 1997, the end of January there. 6'4", 203 pounds. So obviously he's a shooting guard who's clutch. Obviously can hit some big shots. He hit a lot of those. 17th overall pick by the Milwaukee Bucks in 2018. Statistics. Okay, I know that sounds stupid. Well, first 4 years were with the Bucks. Well, part of the first 3 years were with the Bucks. Excuse me, and I don't know. He didn't play a lot, did he? The first year he only played 27 games. Didn't start. Rookies don't get a lot of playing time in the NBA these days, unless they're like the number 1 or number 2 pick. And even half the time, those guys are like, dude, what's up with this guy? He's like doing nothing. What the heck? 5 points a game that year. Started 24 out of 66 games in 19 and 20. Again, the weird year. Three-point percentage the first year was 26.5. Jumped up to 33.6. I got to 9 points a game with the Bucks recently, or his last main full year, almost 38% from downtown. 10.4 a game, and started all 66 games of the Bucks, and they won the NBA championship. So, an NBA title, and of course the national title of Villanova, the Bucks and the Villanova Wildcats. The next year he was with the Bucks, was traded to Sacto during the course of the season. Field goal percentage of the Bucks was 28. What the heck's going on? Jumped up to 37 with the Kings, and 10.3 a game overall. His overall free throw percentage has been hovering on everywhere from the mid 70s to low 80s. 77.1 overall as a career, 37.6 three-point percentage as a career. But the last couple years here with Golden State Warriors, which obviously that's part of their culture, the last decade or so, 39.7. Started 36 games. Wasn't going to start there probably with Clay and the Splash Brothers, even though Clay had become Clang the last couple of years here. Clang Thompson. 26.3 minutes of the Warriors, 26.6. So you're noticing a trend here, mid-20s in minutes. So obviously more of a spark plug than a main dude. Kind of a, what do you call it, Vinnie Johnson role or something. Still capable of making some nice passes as well, as we've seen him in the past. About 3 to 3.5 assists a game throughout his career. He'll get some steals too. He'll turn the ball over, force some turnovers, about a steal and a half. 1 point or a steal and a third officially around that throughout his career. Him being Donte DiVincenzo, a New Yorker. So again, 9.4 with the Warriors, and again that really nice three-point percentage. But with the Knicks last year, played 81 games, started 63 of them, 29.1, started 63 of them, alongside Brunson there. 40.1% from downtown. You ready? 15.5 from the 15.5 overall. So great season last year for Donte DiVincenzo. His trade value probably as high as it's been. Still entering his prime at age 27, and he's coming to the Wolves to help out with kind of being that third guard is what I'd have to say is what his role is. I would have to say Dilly, obviously tons and tons and tons of talent. It's going to be interesting. We're kind of clogging the backcourt a little bit when you think about this. But you also want to think, the rookies probably aren't going to get a ton of playing time. And Donte DiVincenzo is clutch, and obviously people get hurt too. So it is what it is. So that's kind of the idea there, where Donte DiVincenzo is going to be slotted in with the Wolves lineup here. Probably not starting, but sometimes, I don't know, because he can play some point guard. But he's mostly looked on as a shooting guard. And yeah, he's 6'4", but obviously he can make some plays as well. Pretty good rebounder for a 6'4" guy. Averaged almost 6 rebounds with the Bucks when they won the title during the course of that season. 3.7 last year with the Knicks. More of a good shooting Knicks team, believe it or not. Because Tom Thibodeau, well, it's not like he had them shooting 7 3-pointers a game or something. You know what I mean? Like the whole team, shooting only 7 threes a game, like, like back in the day, where teams, attempted 12 or something. Tom Thibodeau has adjusted his style a bit when it comes to three-point shooting. In fact, the Wolves shot a lot of threes when he was here, just not as many as Ryan Saunders when they had him shooting like 1,000 threes, and it wasn't worth it. Like, you're overdoing it. Not, you're just grasping for straws when you're shooting like 50 threes a game. Like, okay, you're not that, you're not that great at it. Come on, settle down. Jeez. Yeah, and 40%, even though that's a good number, isn't like, you're not going to necessarily win a championship only shooting threes. And there's obviously more to the game than that. So, yeah, it's a little bit annoying to watch at times. And, obviously the Warriors had some inside and outside game. But Curry was, I don't want to talk about Steph Curry. I just don't. But welcome to the Wolves, Donte DiVincenzo. Welcome to the Wolves, Donte DiVincenzo and Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, it's been emotional, as Wayne Hunt would say at the end of every Courtside podcast. It is emotional. I missed that show, by the way. Courtside podcast come back. And guess who broke the news to me tonight on the way home? The little ding, you hear the Facebook Messenger. Who do you think it was? Vince Wojbomb Germano. That's right, Vince Wojbomb Germano broke the news to me again. Just like the Jimmy Butler trade. I can't remember if he broke the Rudy trade to me, but I know he's broken multiple trades. Several trades, actually. Several crazy moves. Like, bloody hell, what is this? Oh, wow, did you hear about this? It's like, wait, what now? What? So it was like, bloody hell, this trade. Bloody hell, this trade you guys made. And I'm like, what? And it's like, oh, you mean, Karl Anthony Towns? They're trading Karl? Yeah, they are. So, I mean, this had been a discussion. It's not like, it's like, holy bleep, what are we doing? Karl Anthony Towns put ... Ooh, at 9:08 p.m. ... Oh, so that's his response. Towns was stunned by the trade, according to league source. He was working out at the Timberwolves practice facility this week in preparation for one of the most, this is the Athletic, anticipated seasons in Timberwolves history. The Wolves were coming off a run to the Western Conference Finals, and Towns believed he was a major part of the franchise plans to go one step further this season. So he's probably not super thrilled about it, I'm guessing. But, well, at the same time, you look on the bright side, you get to play with Jalen Brunson. Karl Anthony Towns grew up in Jersey, so that's pretty close. A lot closer to home. I don't know. I'm getting kind of sad a little bit. It is a little sad. It is. Reshuffling the cap sheet. Yeah. Well, we are taking on 2 contracts. They're only taking 1. So there's that, $29 million, and then $11.5 for Donte DiVincenzo. The 29, of course, is Julius Randle. Karl was going to be making more than 49 this year. Well, so yeah, that is definitely less. So it's about 9.5 less. And yeah, 9.5 isn't going to make or break the Timberwolves or anything. But at the same time, it is a lot of cap stress at times where you literally can't do anything. Sometimes it's a miracle you can even make a trade. So it sounds like the Hornets are absorbing some of the salary for some reason. They're helping facilitate the trade. I'm not even sure how that works sometimes, even though it makes sense. But how teams do it, they must be throwing in a player somewhere or something, some kind of cap exception or something. I don't even know how. Yeah, it's a salary cap exception type of, the hell do they call that thing? It was years ago. We got it for Karl Anthony Towns years ago. So, for Karl Anthony Towns. And, what's his name? What was that guy's name? Al Jefferson years ago from the Jazz. It was just like a cap relief type of thing. So that was cute and everything. Fascinating, though. Absolutely fascinating. So Karl, ... Oh, Karl. I can imagine he's probably like, what the bleep? Yep, it's still there. That's the only tweet since then. It's like, what just happened here? Yeah, I'm a bit stunned too, Karl. I'm a bit stunned too. He's probably like, what just happened here? So, yep. No way they did this. They did this for Randle. People are crying. Holy fleece by the Knicks. So this is somebody. Yeah. Showing Karl Anthony Towns ranked number 13 with the Knicks. You in New York. Okay, well, that's great. We're going to have to see what happens, I guess. Wishing you the best, Karl. That's all I got to say. Oh, yes, and Derrick Rose retired as well. Yes, I know. He played 1 year here, and he had a 50-point game, and he was pretty fun to watch. But, I don't know, I'm not as huge of a Derrick Rose fan as some of the rest of you are. But, yep, God bless him, and wishing him the best as well. Derrick Rose, retiring from the NBA. Appreciated and really did appreciate the year he was here. He was pretty good. But, it wasn't like, the end of the world or anything. Anthony Edwards makes me a hell of a lot more excited than pretty much anybody else that's played with the Wolves. Dare I make that statement right here and now. So the development was completely unexpected. A source familiar with it was completely a shock. Towns was, shocked. He was basically shocked. He didn't know what to think. ... probably doesn't mean he's really thrilled at the moment, but at the same time, it's like he'll look at the bright side. Obviously, it's a team with some talent. Obviously, the New York Knicks have a lot of potential and everything still. And Jalen Brunson was awesome, as long as he doesn't break his hand or something. That's what happened pretty much, right? So Mitchell Robinson, fantasy team guy, like desperation move there on my part to get some big men on my team. Yeah, he's out for like 2 months after ankle surgery. So, that's where we're at. It looks like that's where we're heading, and I probably rambled enough now. I hope you've been enjoying this show. I'm going to check out, see if I've had any responses. Maybe I could have just put ... and that's all I needed. So, it's interesting when you look at The Athletic, and that was Karl's response. Whoop. Oh, come back here, John. John Krasinski. Let's see. What the heck? Wolves. The Wolves see this as a way of adding depth, leaning on Edwards, McDaniels, and Reed, and lengthening the window of competitiveness. They have long coveted DiVincenzo. I remember trying to get him as a free agent. Randle scoring can help, and the Detroit's first a significant asset moving forward. The word from the Towns camp is stunned. They're kind of like, what the hell? Wolves getting Detroit first over to the Knicks in this deal. So that's part of it, definitely. The Lynx advanced. Yes, the Lynx advanced past Phoenix. And goodbye to Diana Taurasi. God rest her career. Obviously, amazing career, yes. Not a huge fan, but amazing career. Okay. John Krasinski, another thing. This is on Twitter. One thing to be clear on tonight, K.A.T did not request this trade. He never has requested a move in 9 years here. So, I don't doubt that 1 minute. No, not for 1 second. So, John, great job always. Always loved John Krasinski. Really good guy, actually. Tweeted back and forth a couple of times. I unfortunately do not know him personally. I would love to someday if that blessed. Interesting. Collier of the Lynx, also Defensive Player of the Year. Very lovely young lady, actually. But, yes, very good defensive player, too. Cool. Nice to know that she got that. Okay. As for that, I think I'm done. Let me see if there's any... I don't think I got any responses. Okay. Well, just some likes. Yep, and appreciate you, Levi. Yep, so the next episode is going to be the season preview, so I'll try to set up some kind of tweet and try to get some responses from fan interaction. But yeah, Vince definitely was stunned as well. I was stunned, where you're just like, what the hell? How did he say it? Yeah, bloody hell, the trade you guys just made. I think the Detroit pick is the key here. So yes, sir, it's happening. You got to do a podcast ASAP. Just do it when you can, mate, because I was driving at the time. So I did survive. Yes, I survived the drive home while receiving information about that trade. I did not get pulled over by the police, and I did not swerve into the wrong lane. So thank you, Jesus, for that. And I mean that sincerely. I do. No sarcasm whatsoever. With that said, I think I've said enough. God bless all of you. And thank you, Karl Anthony Towns, for 9 seasons. Really, honestly, sincerely. And welcome to Minnesota. Julius Randle, Donte DiVincenzo, and Detroit's pick that hopefully ends up being a hell of a good pick. And we'll see what happens with that. Until the season preview, well, go Timberwolves, and oof, we're going to see some new faces here.